Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Today's talk is about, as you know, green software engineering. First, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Farah. I'm from Pakistan. I have moved to Germany and I'm working as a software engineer. Okay, let's get to the talk. And first of all, I would like to start it with a quote that first, green technology is not just for someone who belongs to the field of environment or environmentals. It's for everyone who wants to make a better future. Now, what exactly is green software engineering, how we can implement it, and why we should implement it? For this, we have to look at what exactly a green software is. A green software is like a normal software, but where we are paying attention is its impact on the environment, that how it's impacting the environment. We are not compromising over the efficiency, over the performance, over the software architecture. Where we are paying attention that how our software is going to impact our environment around. So for that, we are going to pay attention to the resources it's using, the energy usage, how it's working, and the language we are using. And I will look into this in detail later. Green software engineering is basically an umbrella term. When we talk about green software, we are just concerned about the software. But when we are talking about the green software engineering, we are talking about the front-end changes and the back-end changes. In the front-end changes, we have to pay attention to our software, where we pay attention to the architecture, practices, languages, requirements, everything. But when we talk about the back-end changes, we have to pay attention that what kind of hardwares we are using. What about the data centers? Are our data centers green enough? We pay attention about the carbon emissions and all those factors. Okay, so now why green software engineering is necessary and why we should move to green software engineering. Yes, our software engineering is best. Every day we see that lots of companies are trying to go digital. We have apps for almost everything. We can do everything with our apps today. Then why we should move to green software engineering? The reason is that in 2023, according to the various surveys, our IT spending was 4.6 trillion and it's going to increase more in this year, and it's going to be around 5.6 or something, or maybe more. But the global gas emissions that we are doing in our software engineering field is 1.8 to 3.9%, which shows that we are playing a very major role in the global gas emission. That's why it's very necessary for us to understand that how we should implement green in the software technologies in our application development to protect our environment, as we are impacting it at a great level. Okay, now I'm coming towards that how exactly we can implement all those factors. I would like to first know that how many people here are from the field of software engineering. Okay, so majority of them. But I would like to try to explain everything, so even if you don't belong to that field, it will be easy for you to understand. In software development life cycle, we have different phases. And our first phase is mostly about the requirement engineering. So how we can make it green? In requirement engineering, what we mostly do is that we just try to understand what our customer actually wants, what they are trying to get, and how we should make that software. For that, we mostly communicate with the customers that what kind of software you want, how we should make that, and we try to understand our overall feature. And then we divide all those functions into requirements to understand that how many features we have to develop. Now, to convert our requirement engineering into green requirement engineering, the first and easiest things we can do is that we can look for a green stakeholder. Now, who is the green stakeholder? Green stakeholder is someone who got some information or knowledge about the environment, who can understand and who can do the analysis that how our requirements are going to impact the environment. How we do it, that we add an extra layer of analysis, that how many resources our software is going to take, how many persons, how much energy, what kind of data centers we are using, can we go cloud or we have to have our own servers. So in green requirements, we just adding one more layer of analysis in the requirements. It's basically the same process, but little bit more analysis. Now coming towards the green code Coding is basically the phase we just start the development or product. We are done with the requirements. We just know what customer exactly wants. We just come towards the coding, and here is the part of the software developers start. So in green coding, how we can go with the concept of green? According to the various researches and studies, C language is considered to be the most green language. But I understand that in most of the cases, it's not necessary that C is the only language that we can use for the software development. Yes, for the backend, I can say, okay, let's take C language, but for the front end, we use various language. Today, you know that we use React, we use Angular, and there are so many other things like TypeScript. These are the languages that we use for the front end. So how we can implement the concept of green coding in the front end? We all are familiar that there is a concept of reusability in coding. Reusability basically means that I am not writing the same code again and again. Let's take a very simple example that in every applications we have simple things like a form, buttons, and all those things. So for all of those modules, I am going to make a combined module, and I will use it again and again in my application rather than writing the code again. So this is how we can implement the concept of reusability. Code refactoring is the process where we just try to improve the quality of our code. So in code refactoring, we can see whether we are using lots of loops, can we eliminate them, how we can make them a little bit more better, and also if there are some redundant codes that can be removed. So basically code refactoring is about making your code clean. Two more things that we can do to make our code clean is through pair programming and code reviews. It is always said that two brains are better than one, because in pair programming, maybe I'm doing programming in a way, or I am making a module in a more complex way that is taking way more resources, but the other person can come up with an idea that how I can make it a little bit more better and more efficient. In the code review phase, we always have a code review phase where I have written a code, I just give it, and someone else reviews it is better enough, it is good enough. So in the code review phase, the code reviewer can also pay attention that what are the ways that rather than just looking that this code is working the way it should, the reviewer should also pay attention that how we can make it a little bit more better, reusable. So in code review, we can also implement the concept, and by using all these things, we can make our code green. Now coming towards the SDLC model, in software development we have various models that we follow for the overall development. If you have some ideas, we also have a waterfall model, iterations model. In iterations model, what we do is that we do all the development work in iteration. What that actually means is that in first iteration, I may say that, okay, I'm going to deliver 4 features. In the second iteration, I will add 2 more. In the third, I will add 2 more. It's not like, it's like a concept of continuous development. But in waterfall development, what I do is that once the customer tells me about all the requirements and all the requirements are done, those requirements get freezed. What that means is that I cannot change those requirements. So if we want to implement the concept of green, then we should try to look for the concepts that go with the concept of iteration, like agile and scrum, where we are doing the iteration. So maybe in first iteration I say, okay, we are working on 4 requirements, but one of that requirements is taking way more resources, or maybe we can change the scope of that requirements, or maybe we can make more changes to implement that requirement. So I can, in the next iteration, I can implement those changes. But in the waterfall model, if I am following a waterfall model, you know that once the requirements are frozen, I cannot change them. So even if I feel that one requirement is even not necessary, I can change it, or I shouldn't implement it, I will go with the flow. So if you want to go green, try to go with the concept of iteration. In every iteration, do a little bit of analysis. Thus, is this requirement is actually necessary? How you can change it, how you can make it a little bit more better, so in the next iteration you will have a better requirements or better software. Next, the other few more things that you can do in your software development life cycle is about testing. Testing is a phase where when the developers are done with the coding, they give the code and the tester tests that are they actually doing the work or not, and they also see if there are some loops, there are some bugs, and we have to fix them. So in the testing, we can also do the continuous testing process where we can see that whether this requirement is taking way more resources. It's all about providing an extra layer of analysis. In every phase, we are doing a little bit more analysis than before to make sure that all of our requirements are going with the concept of green, not taking way more resources, way more people, way more energy, because you know the more energy usage goes to more carbon gas emissions. So that's why we are just trying to decrease that in every phase. We can also see that our data centers, are they green enough? What that basically mean is that in the data centers, we can try to look into like how we can make our energy more green. And we can also go with the concept of cloud. If you feel your applications can use the cloud services, so try to use them. Now the question is that we have seen that what exactly green is, why we should do it, how we should do it. Now the question is it worth it? Okay, so as a person and as a business owner, if I go to someone and say you should move to green, the first question they will ask that, is it worth enough? Why I should move to this process if my process is working fine? And I feel there is nothing wrong as a business owner. You just look at the pros and cons. So I will try to explain this concept with a few examples to make it easy for you. First of all, people think that if we are going to move towards the concept of green, maybe they will impact our performance. No, it is not going to impact your performance because we are doing a little bit extra work. Yes, you have to do a little bit more analysis, extra work, but it's gonna increase your performance in the end. We can see an example that Microsoft is the biggest tech giant in the industry. We all know about it. Microsoft also started to go with the concept of sustainability. In 2022, they said that they have decreased their carbon emission by 0.5%. Okay, so they were working towards the concept of sustainability, but they also had 18% of growth. So we can never say that if you are going with the concept of sustainability, it will impact your growth. No. Now coming towards the capital. Okay, so as a business owner, if you say that you wanna have green energy and you want to have the concept of green energy in your organizations, how it is going to impact you, but in the terms of capital. I give you the example of my own company at Smartmicro. My CEO Ralph wanted to go green a few years back. So he invested a lot of money in that, and what he wanted was that the whole organization should have green energy. We do not want to use the electricity. He went for that and he invested a lot of money. So I asked him, what do you think as a business owner? Was this a good choice? So he said, yes. Yes, it's a good choice. Now in our office, all the laptops, even if you are running your own devices, like you're charging your devices, even the carports to charge your card are on the base to solar. So we are all using the solar energy. But you cannot expect advantages very quickly. So the time frame in which I will actually see the positive results by having green energy lies between 5 to 10 years. So it may be like, in the first year I invested like 20k euros. I'm just giving rough estimation. 20k euros to have green energy at my place in my organization. But the return that I got in that year, maybe 2,000 euros. So it's not a very great amount, and I will be like, I have invested way more than I am getting back. So in the first year, second year, or maybe in the third year, so in the new years, like the first 5 years, you cannot expect to have a lot of benefits. But in 10 years, you will be ahead than the organizations who are not using green energy. Or let's take an example that there are two organizations, Organization A and Organization B. So Organization A says that we are going to have green energy. And they invest a lot of money in that. But the Organization B says that we are not interested in that. So they don't do anything and they are just going with the flow. suddenly there are some issues and there is some sudden increase in the taxes and the electricity cost. Who is going to be in benefit? Company A or company B? They will continuously pay more amount. Of course, the company A also invested a lot of money, but in a long term, company A who went green, who went with the concept of green, will not bother about the taxes of the high cost or anything. So in a long term, green and having green energy on going green is going to help you a lot. But in terms of capital, you can say you have to wait to see the changes. But in terms of performance, you can see the changes a bit more early, because it's more analysis will help you to have a better software, to have a better quality in all the phases of the software. Okay, now what are the social actions that we all can take to build a better future? So these are the social actions that you can take as a person, as a developer, as a business owner, and there are a few small steps that you can do even if you don't belong in the field of IT. And I will also tell you a very small tip that you all can implement and you all can go green from today. First of all, let's talk about the laptop buying thing. What you do when you buy a laptop? Like, what's the first thing that you do if you have to buy a laptop? Yes. Okay, so from today, what you can do is that you can also look into the eco profile of that laptop to go green. Okay, we all look for what are the specs, how it's gonna work, or maybe if you are a gamer or someone, you will look, is it gonna run fine, is it gonna work, everything. So apart from that, add one more thing, that try to look into the eco profile of that laptop as well. What exactly is eco profile? Eco profile basically provides all the information about your laptop, then how it's going to be recycled, how it was actually made, the different kind of materials, and also sometimes in eco profile they also provide information about the carbon gas emissions. So in this way you can just have more information about your laptop and try to buy a product that provides eco-friendly and that is more eco-friendly to the environment. So from today, whenever you are buying a new laptop, just try to look into the eco profile. It's very easy. Just write the name of the laptop and try to search eco profile. So many companies like Microsoft and some other companies are also providing this information. So you will find it very easily. Next thing is Energy Star. We all have seen that Energy Star logo, right? So many products are certified with the Energy Star products are the one that are way more eco-friendly. So it doesn't only imply to the laptops. The Energy Star Energy Star certified things are more for, you can also look for your home appliances. It's not just limited to your laptops. Third thing is recycling. Always try to recycle your devices rather than throwing them away. So in this way you can also protect your environment. And the last thing is shutdown. It's the most easiest thing. It's the most easiest thing you can do, and it's the tip I was talking about, that from today you all can go green by shutting down your devices. The CO2 emission of one laptop by just using it for 8 hours daily lies between 44 to 88 kgs. Just 8 hours. And we are not using our devices for just 8 hours. So from today, you all can go green by shutting down your devices. Yes, I understand. As a developer, I also love putting my laptop on sleep. Okay, it's on sleep. I will just open it and I will do whatever I want. I understand that feeling, but at least for night time. From today, we all are going to shut down our devices. We have to protect our environment. It's a very small thing, and I think with this very small thing, we all can go green. And even if you don't belong to the field of IT, we know that we all are using our laptops and our devices every day, right? So I believe that from today's talk, afterwards, you all going to shut down your devices, at least at the night time. And as a company owner, you also can make a rule in your company that after the work time, please shut down your devices. Everything should be shut down so we can just decrease the carbon emission as a person. And or for the recycling services, many companies like Dell, Lenovo, they all are providing recycling services. Amazon also provide recycling services, and there are also some companies, what they do is that they just pay you the money and they do the recycling service for yourself. So you can just call them, they will just pick the devices from your place, and this way you can easily recycle your devices. And if you are buying a laptop of HP, you can also try to look into the HP Intel Evo laptops. They have basically started it new, where they try to be way more sustainable. They have changed the timings of the laptops, that mostly it will take a little bit less time to charge. So in the Microsoft is also trying to be way more sustainable. So they have also made a lot of changes. Even for the Windows update, they started to be way more sustainable. So for the Windows update, they have made changes as well. So one more thing I would like to add is that when we talk about the carbon emissions, is not just by the usage. The carbon emission by the laptop also depends on its manufacturing and its transportation. So when we are manufacturing the laptop, it also results into a lot of carbon emissions. And when we are transporting it also. So as a person, of course, all the tech giants are trying their best to go towards the concept of sustainability. Dell said that in 2014, 2050, they want to go with the concept of neutral emission, where they would try to be on zero gas emissions. And Microsoft is also trying to go at the zero gas emissions by 2030, 2040. So all of these tech giants are trying to go towards the concept of sustainability. So of course, for the manufacturing part, we cannot do anything. The tech giants are working their part, and the transportation part as well. But for the usage part, what we can do is that we try to understand that what is the efficient use of using a laptop, right? For the daytime, you can use it as much as you want. In the daytime, shut it down. Even the carbon emission of the smart devices is very high. But of course, I cannot ask you to shut down your phones as well. It's something very necessary. We use it every day. It's another topic, and I think it's gonna take way more time. But for the laptops and all those devices, for the PCs, from today, I expect that you all are going to shut it down. And last but not the least thing is that when you know something good, try to educate others as well. Try to deliver the good message with others as well. And do it for yourself, for your next generation, and for Earth. It's very necessary. And even if you are the first person in the room to do something good, do it. Never feel like I am the only one. I am doing something good. How it's gonna make a difference? If we all started to make baby steps, it's gonna make a great difference in the upcoming years. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Farah, for your talk. We will go now to the questions all people have given me via Slido. Are there tools that analyze code, though I can see how efficient my code is in terms of energy efficiency?
I saw some tools like online websites where they were providing informations, but it was mostly about the emails. Like I'm sending an email, they were like, I will just put information that how many email I have sent today and how I have received. Then they tell about the carbon emissions. But it is basically, I will say that it's a new discipline. And so many people are trying to get along with this and dive deep, but right now I do not have idea about any tool that can do it. But that's why I have mentioned the points that the pair programming and code reviews are the best thing that we can do to try to know about the efficiency. And one more thing I would like to add here is that in terms of code, if you want to know about that, is it green enough or not, you will look at the time. The more time my code is taking, the more energy it's using. So basically in the concept of green, we are trying to minimize the concept of energy usage. So try to have less energy, right? Less time. That's why we are removing redundant codes and loops and all those things.
And how do you measure the impact of the hardware your application uses, like cloud and non-cloud?
It's basically like I mentioned that cloud are basically the services that are already done. If I have to use that in my applications, I will just have those cloud services, right? But if I say that, okay, no, for my software, I want to have my own server, I want to have my own services, then it's going to start from the scratch. If you start something from the scratch, it's going to have more resources, more energy. So in comparison, if I have to make something from the scratch for my software, and if I have to use services that are already available, that are already done, then for the concept of green, you would try to prefer to have services that are already done. So here you are basically saving the energy, rather than if I say, okay, let's make my own server, then I will have lots of hardware, lots of energy usage, lots of manpower. So in comparison, I am having a way more energy usage than the cloud.
Does green software engineering affect or limit the choice of framework and/or programming languages to use?
Yes, it affects. As I told you that according to the various researches, C is considered to be the most green language. If you look into internet, I came across this. It was a research paper. It was a very huge research paper. It provides information about almost all the programming languages, where they saw that C is a little bit more green language as comparison to the other languages. And they tried to do this research in terms of like the compilation time the language is taking, how much time is taking, execution, like performance. So they try to measure it through the various concepts. So in the end of the research, they mentioned that some languages were in terms of performance high, but in terms of resource usage were also high. Some were very low in the resource usage, but in terms of performance, they were very low as well. So in that research, they said that C is green language, but for the other languages, they were not really sure that how exactly they should measure it, that all of these languages are green enough or not. And Rust is also considered to be a green language. And one more thing when you are saying is that you have to look that this language is depending upon the interpreter or compiler. So in this way you can also determine that language is green enough or not. And I would also suggest that try to look into that research paper. It's actually very huge. If I started to elaborate, it will take a way more time to explain. And there is actually a research paper about the green languages. Plus, if you don't have the choice, in some companies we know that we just go and they say, oh, this is the software, work on it. So in that case, we don't have the choice. In that case, you will try to go with the concept of reusability, code factoring, and all those things to go with the concept of green if you have no choice of language.
Thank you, Farah, for answering all our questions.
Thank you so much.